Hey, what's up everyone? This is Mike Deary from rockguitarpower.com and shooting a video today and making a lesson to go over a question that came in from one of our members. And this came in from Sandy, and Sandy asks, I was wondering if you had any videos on playing lead in between a rhythm part. Meaning if you are the only guitarist in the band and have to do both parts, how do you apply that without losing the rhythm beat of the song? I hope I explained it somewhat clear. Yes, Sandy, I totally get what you're asking, and it is such a popular question and great thing to know how to do that I wanted to make this video for you and everybody else in Rock Guitar Power. So the whole idea is that, let's say, as she asked, you're the solo player in a band, the only guitar player, and you want to fill out things with chords, but also add in some licks and some lead ideas. So to do this, we're going to look a lot at blues right now, and that's one of the types of music that Sandy was looking at. This works really great for blues. I'm going to touch upon how to apply it to some light jazz concepts, but also even some other just regular pop or folky type stuff. Now I'm going to keep this simple and go over the technique so that you'll understand it and can apply it right away. Some more advanced styles, in more deep, real jazz music, this happens a lot, as well as a lot of fingerstyle folk music. They really integrate melody and rhythm playing and lead all in one. But we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to start off by taking a look at a basic blues chord progression in the key of A. So we're going to have A7, we're going to have D7, and we're going to have E7. Okay? So the first key to integrating chords and leads. Number one, I want to try to keep things in the same general area. Don't worry about being flashy and getting all over the neck, okay? You'll learn to do that later once you get the basic concept down. But the first thing I want to do is try to arrange my chords so that they all happen in a very close proximity, okay? In other words, I don't want to do A here and go way up to D. Alright, I want to try to keep on A and D and then my E right here. And also, for scales, let's now only focus on the minor pentatonic scale, okay? It's king, it's where so many of our licks are based off of, so we're going to use that and make sure you know where it exists for your key. Because we're doing blues and we're in A, okay, I have my scale right underneath my main chord here. And then the same thing, if I move to D, or if I do this shape, okay, and then if I go to E, so the voicings that would make the most sense if I use the bar chord here at the 5th fret for A, then I go to the 5th fret on D7, and then for E7 I could use this shape for the 7th chord. So you could see that I'm able to play all my chords without moving all over the place. What this does is keep me centered around my minor pentatonic scale pattern. And for this one, you could also tack in the blues scale as well, okay? So the next step that I want to do is just do little jumps into playing a lead or a lick, okay? You're definitely going to want either a metronome or some type of steady beat. All right, I'm going to have a drum loop here that's going to be playing. We'll be at 120 beats per minute. And what you're going to do is just let it play. First off, you got to establish a very, very good sense of the rhythm. We're going to use the 12-bar blues here to start off. Because if I do that, let's just play the chords. Now D7. Back to A. Okay, nice standard 12-bar blues rhythm. So now what we can do, and blues is great because you're on the same chord for a long time. If you're just learning this technique, do it with a chord progression or a song that stays on the same chord for a while. If the chords change, it becomes a little bit trickier to do this. So when you're starting off, keep it simple, stay on the same chord for a while. So now what I'm going to do, let the chord play for 1 bar. I'm going to play a chord for 1 bar. And then I'm going to jump to doing a very simple lick, even if it's just going down the pentatonic scale. Okay, so watch this. 1 bar of chord, 1 bar of lick. Okay, again, I'm not worried about changing chords. You want to get used to just playing a chord and then going to a lick, and then vice versa, okay? Again, make sure you're counting in your head and knowing where that bar starts and ends so that you can get back to the chord or back to the lick. And right now, you're not doing anything fancy. Do the same lick over and over. You want to start getting used to not being able to think about all this and just let it happen. So now, let's try doing the first the first 6 bars of a 12-bar blues. So we're going to be on the 1 chord for 4 bars, and then we're going to change to the D, which is the 4 chord. Same thing though, when you change to the D, you could still stay in the same key and use the same scale pattern. So let's see how this sounds. Okay, so again, I'm right now just counting and feeling it out. At 120 it might be a little fast for you. Go down to 100, go down to 80, whatever it is to make it comfortable. But basically with this blues, number one, my chords are all happening in the same area around the pentatonic scale, so I could just integrate licks very quickly and jump to them, okay? And again, minor pentatonic or blues scale. And with blues, that's basically it. You know, you don't worry about making it fancy yet. You know, keep it simple. If we take another blues rhythm, let's say something, Susan Tedeschi is a favorite of Susan's, so, or I'm sorry, of Sandy. So we're going to, let me do one of the covers she does for Little by Little, which the blues rhythm is this. Okay, so let me play that and integrate licks with it. So now instead of playing chords, I'm playing a melody as my main rhythm part. Okay, so as you can see, I was just following the chords. Every once in a while, I'll play the chord on the downbeat. And just see if you could integrate some simple licks in there. Keep it around that minor pentatonic scale. If you feel like you really get comfortable with that, then you could jump out, maybe go into the relative major pentatonic scale and do that on C. So in other words, so again, now I'm kind of making sure, again, I know where my beat changes or where my chord changes, but I'm doing more licks in between it all. You could also use a lot of arpeggio patterns. That'll help you break it out. Like one that I like doing for a dominant 7 chord is an arpeggio that plays 2 notes per string, such as this. Oops. Okay. So I'm going 5, 9, 7, 10, 7. Alright, so now if I play something like this, okay, so hopefully that helps give you some ideas there. Again, blues is the best way to start this off. Keep it all in the same area. Now another thing that you could try to do this with, if you look at other styles in maybe pop, folk, or just you know, anything that uses major chords or major minor chords, What you want to try to check out is what's called the caged system, C-A-G-E-D. I don't have any lessons on it, but I'll probably shoot a course or a video to tell you about it. The basic principle is that you're aligning all your chords with the common open chord shapes. So for example, C major, I can make into a bar position if I use this shape. My pinky, my ring finger, my middle finger, and my first finger bars, which is acting as the open string. Okay, so this would be the C shape. Now I do a D shape by doing this. You can see how now I have a D major chord shape if I come down here, but again, my first finger acts as a bar. So the G shape would be like this. It's a little bit of a stretch, okay, but you can see now I can move around, and then A would be like this, and so forth. So the cage system is another way of helping you to keep all your chord shapes around one focal area. Okay, so in this case, I'm not going, you know, let's say I want to go from A to G. Okay, I just moved all the way down there. Or if I go up the A string. All right, so now I'm moving all over the place. But now, let's use the cage system. And the G chord would actually be the D shape, okay? I'm using this cage system, again, I'm all around where my major scale happens. This is just a major progression, so now instead of using the minor pentatonic scale, we're going to use the major scale. And because it's more of major minor chords, we're going to use a full major scale, not a pentatonic. So on A, that would be my A major, or I could do whatever. So let's now take the same idea. So we play our chord. Okay, and so forth. So the whole idea of the cage system, depending on your song, will help keep you in the same area so that you could focus your chords around a scale that'll be right underneath your fingers. You don't want to be going G, or you know, A minor, or sorry, A major, back to your minor pentatonic, G, back to your pentatonic. You know, you're going to be jumping all over the place, so arrange your chords around the same area. Now, one last style I'll touch upon very easily, or very lightly, I should say, is jazz. And I'm not going to get into very crazy or in-depth jazz. Let's take the common chord progression that goes from 2 to 5. So if we stay in A major, okay, a 2-5 progression would be B minor 7 to E7. Okay, just these two chords. This is a fun little chord progression. It's also kind of bluesy. Because we're in A major, I could integrate my A major licks and my A major scale in between all of this. So as you can see, I become very familiar with my patterns. My major pattern here. And then my minor. Or I could even come up here. Okay? So again, aligning your scales around your chords will help you to break free of it. But again, the other thing that helps a lot is using a metronome, a steady beat, a drum kit, or a drum machine, whatever. Keep that rhythm steady and count out and make sure you can associate what bar you're on, what chord you should be on while you're doing your licks. So that's a basic idea on how to get started with it. Hopefully that helps. If you need more clarification, let me know. Everybody else that's out there, check out rockguitarpower.com. I do tons of these free videos. Send in your questions, mike@rockguitarpower.com. If they're good ones, such as the one Sandy sent in and they're really popular, I'll definitely shoot videos for you or respond by email however I can. So check out rockguitarpower.com. This is Mike Deary. Have fun, keep practicing and playing, and we'll see you real soon. Later.